Hi there. Today I want to talk about the arrogance of Premiership football players, EU threats, forced vaccinations, and gender neutral Father Christmas. So we'll kick off with the football players. Premiership players are saying that they're going to walk out off the pitch if the fans keep booing them. Well, the arrogance of these pampered individuals really defeats me. It's they who need the fans, not the other way around. Nobody will die or go hungry or fail to file their tax returns if you walk off the pitch. But amongst your fans, there will be doctors and nurses, accountants, shopkeepers who run the shops where you buy your groceries, car workers who make your car, electricity workers who provide the power for your home, waste disposal operatives at all levels who clean up your shit. In other words, real people with real and meaningful jobs who pay you to entertain them, not lecture them on your political point of view. Sorry about the grammar in the picture, I didn't write it. And as for Europe, Europe is baring their teeth, it says in a headline, threat to cut Britain off unless London agrees to terms. They are threatening to refuse British air, road and rail traffic unless the country agrees to submit to EU contingency rules. British airlines would be prevented from landing in European airports, British road-hauled freight would be prevented from crossing borders, and the Eurotunnel railway that links Great Britain and France would be closed by the European Union if the UK government fails to meet Europe's demands by January the 1st, 2021. Well, in order to get a 6-month reprieve from Europe's ire here, Britain has to agree to 12 months of surrendering its fishing waters and agree to accept the EU's competition and level playing field demands. Surely this is an act of war, because what they're trying to do is get us to surrender our sovereignty to get a trade deal. But if we refuse, they won't just walk away with a no trade, no deal Brexit. They'll blockade us. They'll try to destroy our economy. Well, they won't succeed. They may hurt us in the short term at great cost to themselves too, but we will dust ourselves off and build a better future, just like we did in 1918 and again in 1945, when we stood alone for over 2 years and we bankrupted ourselves to free Europe from Nazi tyranny. I will not give in to this type of bullying. The EU is treating us as if we were a colony, unilaterally declaring independence from our lord and masters. And the EU are also threatening that we must be subject to their laws even after we have left and punish us if we don't comply. What arrogance! And they're doing this because they are very, very afraid. They are afraid because we will do better on the world stage once we are free of the restrictive and protectionist social liberalism of the EU. They are terrified that once we prove that we will be better off outside the EU, other countries will follow suit. There is a rising tide of discontent within the EU. We owe it to those countries to prove our point so that they can throw off the shackles of the undemocratic and cumbersome political structure that is the EU today. I do not want to be part of an organisation that can behave in such a dictatorial way, not only to us, but to others like the Visegrad countries who are defying the directives to take non-EU immigrants into their countries. They're behaving more like Stalinist Russia than the USA. They are trying to bully us by threatening illegal sanctions and scare us into giving in. Well, I will not be bullied like this. The cost of leaving might be high, but it is a lot less in the long term than the cost of giving away our freedom. And far from frightening me, their actions only reinforce my opinion that leaving the EU is the best thing we as a nation can do. And what about vaccinations? Matt Hancock has said that the population of the UK will be forced to take the vaccine, like it or not, one way or another, and anyone who refuses it will not be allowed to travel, go to shops or pubs, or live a normal life. Whatever your opinion about the vaccine, this law is not only wrong, it is dangerous. In the wrong hands, this sort of power can lead to all sorts of involuntary genetic engineering. It is also worth pointing out that it is contrary, in my opinion, to the Nuremberg Code, although there is some controversy about that. Article 6 of the Nuremberg Code says that any preventative diagnostic and therapeutic medical intervention is only to be carried out with the prior, free and informed consent of the person concerned, based on adequate information. Wendy E. Parmet, who's a faculty director at the Centre for Health Policy at Northeastern University, said that informed consent implies not simply that the choice is voluntary, but that the voice is informed, that the person actually understands the risk. She detailed how informed consent and vaccination are compatible. This is the controversy, arguing that informed consent advances four major goals: compensation of injuries, prevention of injuries, promotion of trust, and recognition of choice. Well, if we accept that, then by forcing us to take the vaccine whilst at the same time, and remember this, same time making makers and providers of the vaccine immune from prosecution and making it impossible to sue the NHS or any other doctor who administers the drug, they are removing two of those goals, namely the compensation of injuries and the prevention of injuries. It's already common knowledge that the UK government has asked the USA for more database storage to cope with the expected high incidence of adverse reactions to the virus. They are expecting this, but still going ahead with it. Personally, I think we would all be safer with the virus than with the vaccine. You have to catch the virus in the first place, then you will have a 99.7% chance of recovering from it if you caught it in the first place, whereas with the vaccine you will get it because the state mandates it, and then you have possibly a higher incidence of allergic reaction, infertility amongst women, and the possible long-term effects that have not been tested. Remember thalidomide. This is another in an ever-growing list of freedoms that are being taken away from us. As for 1984, the revised date is 2030. And they're also having a go at Father Christmas. The man's got a damn great beard. How can that be gender neutral? They want us to make him gender neutral. Leave our traditions and our heritage alone. It hurts no one except those who want something to be offended by. Are there so few real things to be offended by that you have to invent more to satisfy your victim mentality? How about getting offended by real issues like homeless veterans on our streets, or terrorists roaming free in our society, child rapists being protected by the snowflakes, criminal deportation stopped by people more concerned about the criminals than they are about the safety of the innocent? Teachers who teach their own political ideology, which is against the law incidentally, the erosion of freedom of speech, and much, much more. Get some sodding priority in your pathetic little lives. No child was ever offended by Father Christmas until you morons started this alphabet soup of genders. You were the genderphobic ones. Obviously, you're cisgenderphobic. The rest of us, the sane ones, we don't care what gender you are. You lot complain about male heroes, but no one ever says anything about Wonder Woman or Lara Croft and all the other female heroes, fictional and real. If you want a gender-neutral world, there will be no mothers and no fathers, and that means no kids either. You want to bring up kids in the most unnatural way, thinking they can choose their gender. Well, trigger alert, go to your safe place now, because a fact is about to be revealed. I'll count to 5 to give you time to prepare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here it comes. It is a scientific fact that there are only 2 genders. If you want to pretend to be something you're not, fine by me. Live in your fantasy world. Just don't expect me to live there with you. Because guess what? Your fantasy offends me. And trigger warning, another fact is on its way. Fact number 2. Ready or not, here it comes. I have as much right to be offended as you do. But you are also up yourselves with your own feelings of self-important victimhood that you think you're the only ones that matter. Well, another trigger alert, you are not the center of the universe. In fact, I don't care about you, but I do care about the children whose futures you are destroying with your moronic race to the top of the pile of the oppressed. So leave Father Christmas alone, and I'll promise not to complain about Lara Croft, Supergirl, Catwoman, Helen Keller, Rosa Parks, Ellen Ripley, Claudette Colvin, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, Mother Country, Arwen from Lord of the Rings, Buffy Summers, Daphne Blake, Hermione Granger, Nancy Drew, Emma Peel, Kathy Gale, Purdy. See ya.